Baby girl, you said you had an issue with me. You said you had a problem with me. So keep it that way. When you see me, ghost mode. If I look at you, you better ghost mode. And that's just on that. Because I ain't finna keep going back and forth exchanging looks if you're not paying me.
I'm not crazy, bro, but I ain't even finna get into all that shit, bro, because you gonna start saying some extra other shit and saying I'm on some funny shit and just like you did the other day, but you know what you did, I know what you did, yeah, so it is what it is. I put it past me, but you seem like you just keep, laugh about the shit, but it is what it is.
You're crazy. You're really in denial.
Oh, I'm in denial, but I did nothing.
Oh my God. You did nothing.
I've been in jail.
Love can feel like the warmest hug on a cold day, full of sweet whispers and big dreams. But what happens when that hug turns into a tight grip you can't escape? Today we're diving into a heartbreaking story that reminds us how quickly love can twist into something dark and dangerous. We will be looking at the life of this amazing, beautiful young woman named Chasity Sparkman. At 26 years old, she was raising two amazing kids, an 8-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter who meant everything to her. Living in the warm, lively city of Sacramento, California, she came from a big, loving family that always had each other's backs. Her dad, Alfonso, often talked about how she was full of energy, outgoing, and always wearing a smile that could lift anyone's spirits. Family members described her as really bubbly, a true go-getter who never missed a chance to say I love you. Chasity worked hard every day, putting her children first above all else. She was enrolled at Sacramento City College, chasing her dreams with classes in business, music, and even some psychology. Yet she was so excited about graduating and building a stronger future for her little family. Life hadn't always been easy for her, but she handled every challenge with strength and came out even more determined, like someone who refuses to let the hard stuff keep her down.
Baby, come give me something new. Then you move. Baby, come give me something new. Then get your out of the way. Cause I can't stop.
It all started back in high school when Chasity met Isaiah. He was charming, with a smile that made her heart skip. They fell head over heels, dreaming of a life together filled with laughter and adventure. Soon, they became parents, and those two children became the center of Chastity's world. She poured all her energy into being the best mom, making sure they had everything she wished she would had growing up. Home-cooked meals, bedtime stories, and endless hugs. But life doesn't always follow the happy script. Isaiah got into trouble with the law and ended up in prison. That's when things began to change. At first, Chasity held on tight. She visited when she could, sent letters full of encouragement, and answered his calls with hope in her voice. She wanted to keep their family whole for the kids' sake. Ladies, this is a reminder. If someone has a criminal record, think twice before moving forward. It might seem like love can fix everything, but sometimes those red flags are waving for a reason.
Hold on, give me a second. They can't even hear you guys. They can't even hear you. Huh? I don't know.
As time passed, the prison calls turned sour. Isaiah's questions weren't loving anymore. "Where were you last night?" he would demand. "Who are you talking to?" The warmth faded, replaced by suspicion that grew like weeds in a garden. Chasity tried to steer the talks back to the children, their school days, their funny moments, but Isaiah's jealousy took over. He accused her of things that weren't true, his words sharp like knives. If he has a temper like that, or shows uncontrollable jealousy, or talks to you in a crazy way, do not move forward. It's not love, it's control, and it can trap you before you even realize it. Chastity's family started noticing the changes. She smiled less in photos, her eyes lost their sparkle. When they asked about Isaiah, she would pause, change the subject. Deep down, Chasity knew something was wrong. The apologies came, but they didn't erase the hurt. She confided in a few close friends about the unease gnawing at her. Still, she held on to hope that when he got out, things might get better. Maybe freedom would soften his edges, but hope can blind us to danger sometimes.
I'm not crazy, bro, but I ain't even finna get into all that shit, bro, because you're gonna start saying some extra other shit and saying I'm on some funny shit and just like you did the other day, but you know what you did, I know what you did, yeah, so it is what it is. I put it past me, but you seem like you just keep, laugh about the shit, but it is what it is.
You're crazy. You're really in denial.
Oh, I'm in denial, but I did nothing.
Oh my God. You did nothing.
I've been in jail.
That doesn't matter. You still can do stuff.
It does. What the can I do? I ain't physically touched nobody.
Oh my Lord Jesus. I mean, I know you didn't. You can't.
Right. So what you
So
saying?
that doesn't count. You're forced to not do anything. If it was a choice, you would.
Count?
Isaiah.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
That doesn't count.
Oh my Lord. She does count. What are you talking about?
Wow, you just said it doesn't count.
Isaiah.
Damn, alright, shit. That's the truth right there, huh?
No, you're like psycho at this point. Like, you're very in denial.
It's all good.
No, it is all good. Because you're lying.
I'm lying.
Yes, you're sitting up here being in denial, acting like...
As Valentine's Day approached in 2024, the holiday that usually brings thoughts of love, roses, and sweet messages felt heavy and uncertain for Chasity. She had made up her mind. The relationship with Isaiah was truly over. She craved calm, a real chance to start fresh, and to focus on healing for herself and her children. And still, as a devoted mom, Chasity believed it was right to keep the kids connected to their dad. An 8-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl deserved stability, even if their parents' paths had split. Co-parenting mattered, so she agreed to a face-to-face talk, but only on her terms, a public place, somewhere safe and visible. She chose the parking lot at Lake Crest Village Shopping Center, in Sacramento's pocket neighborhood near Florin Road and Greenhaven Drive. Streetlights kept it well lit even after dark, stores and people were nearby, and she figured that setting would help keep emotions in check and prevent things from getting out of hand. As Chasity pulled up in her car that evening, her mind raced with a mix of nerves and determination. She spotted Isaiah standing by his vehicle, arms folded, face tense. And next to him, another woman named Ayanna. Chastity's stomach dropped. This wasn't the private talk she had expected. Why bring someone else into this? If he had a new girlfriend, why not just leave Chasity alone and focus on co-parenting? Why drag her into more drama, taking her away from her children and family who needed her so much? Chasity stepped out, keeping her cool. She reminded herself this was about the kids. Isaiah jumped right in with accusations. "Why did you leave me?" he barked. "You think you are better now?" His voice was low, but boiling with anger. Ayanna chimed in, mocking Chasity, as questioning why she even showed up if she was done. Chasity stayed steady, her words soft but firm. "I am here for our children," she said. "They deserve a dad who's there for them, without all this fighting." The air grew thick with tension. Isaiah paced, his fists clenching. Chasity tried again to bring peace. "Let's think about the kids. They need us both, but not like this." But her calm only seemed to fuel his rage. In moments like these, we see how unchecked emotions can explode. Then, in a flash that changed everything, a gunshot echoed through the parking lot. Chasity crumpled to the ground, her world going dark. Isaiah and Ayanna didn't stop to help. They didn't call for aid. They jumped in their car and sped off, leaving her alone under the harsh lights. Now, ladies, pause for a moment and listen. If a relationship has ended and there's any history of temper, accusations, or threats, it's often safest to handle co-parenting through neutral channels like text, email, family court, or a third party. Face-to-face meetings, even in public, can escalate quickly when emotions run high. The sharp crack of the gunshot cut through the quiet night, and panic swept over the parking lot like a wave. People in nearby stores heard the blast and immediately grabbed their phones, dialing 911 with shaking hands. "There's been a shooting," voices cried out as calls flooded the emergency lines. Sacramento police officers sped to the Lake Crest Village shopping center, lights flashing and sirens wailing. Paramedics arrived right behind them, jumping out with their gear. They found Chasity on the cold pavement, blood pooling around her, still clinging to life but fading fast. The medics dropped to their knees without hesitation, checking for a pulse, pressing bandages to the wound, starting chest compressions in a desperate rhythm to keep her heart going. They worked with focused urgency. In talking to her softly, even as they loaded her onto a stretcher, the ambulance doors slammed shut, and they raced toward the nearest hospital, sirens blaring through the streets, hoping every second counted.
I might have corona. For real, that's why nobody's by me.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone even live up here?
Yeah, I think so, because for Christmas I passed by and somebody had a Christmas tree up there. I was high. I was hecka mad. Right? I didn't want nobody to move here. It has been a year.
In the emergency room, doctors and nurses took over, fighting to stabilize her. They did everything they could, monitoring, transfusing, trying to repair the damage from the bullet, but the injury was too severe. Despite their efforts, Chasity slipped away. By the morning of February 15th, 2024, she was gone, taken far too soon at just 26 years old. The news crashed over Sacramento like a sudden storm. Hearts broke across the city, but nowhere more than in her own family. Alfonso Sparkman, her father, could barely speak through his tears when he talked to reporters. He described his daughter as pure joy, the unbreakable spirit who filled every room with light and love. She was everything to us, he said, his voice cracking with grief. Family members gathered close, trying to hold each other up while grappling with the unimaginable. The pain hit hardest when it came to her two little ones. How do you explain to an 8-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl that mommy isn't coming home? Their small voices asked the questions no child should have to. When is she back? Why did she leave? The confusion in their eyes tore at everyone's heart. Relatives stepped in right away, wrapping the kids in love and stories, reminding them of how Chasity danced around the kitchen with silly moves to make them laugh, or how she would spend hours baking special birthday cakes just the way they liked, covered in extra sprinkles. Those memories became lifelines, ways to keep her close even though she was gone.
I still don't believe it. I still feel like it's a dream. I'm waiting on her to bust through the door. I want to know the truth because it hits different. You know, so people understand, I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot in my time, brothers, sisters, mother, father, stuff like that, cousins. But it hits different when it's your child. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that kid blowing my phone up all day, every day no more.
The father of 20 children says his daughter was studying psychology at Sacramento City College. She mainly would focus on her music, work, and caring for her kids. Those kids will now be adopted by her aunt, which was Chastity's request.
The city mourned. Candlelight gatherings lit up the nights, friends sharing tales of her warmth and drive. Detectives combed the scene, picking up shell casings and piecing together what happened. A nationwide search began for Isaiah and Ayanna. Weeks dragged on, the community on edge, wondering if justice would come. Do you know that the kids' innocent questions echo what so many families face after domestic tragedy? It shows why recognizing danger early matters so much. If control turns to threats, if jealousy flares into anger, stepping away safely through courts, support services, or trusted help can protect not just you, but the little ones who depend on you most.
Chasity Sparkman! Chasity Sparkman won't be forgotten.
She's nothing but joy, you know what I'm saying? And man, we just love her. We just miss her so much.
Don't forget about my sister. Don't forget that my sister is not here anymore. Because she was somebody important.
She was going to school for business. She was just starting out with her music career. And I just can't say enough.
And as they gathered, many wearing pink and with heart-shaped balloons, they remembered and grieved.
Justice for Chasity. Justice for Chasity.
We love you,
Chasity! Finally, nearly a month after that heartbreaking night, on March 12th, 2024, Word came that brought a glimmer of relief to Chasity's grieving family and the Sacramento community. Isaiah James and Ayana Burgos, the two people police identified as the suspects, were located and arrested in New York City, almost 3,000 miles from where the tragedy unfolded. Federal agents from the FBI worked alongside local detectives to track them down, and both were taken into custody without incident. They faced extradition back to California to answer for homicide-related charges in connection with Chastity's death. Hearing that the suspects were in custody allowed Chastity's loved ones to breathe a little easier, even if just for a moment. Her father, Alfonso, and other family members expressed quiet gratitude that the people responsible were no longer on the run. It was a step towards some form of accountability. A small measure of justice in a situation that felt so profoundly unfair. But no arrest, no court process could ever bring Chasity back or mend the deep void she left behind. The children still woke up without their mom, the family still gathered without her laughter, and the holidays would forever carry a shadow. Chastity's story goes far beyond one tragic event. It's a powerful reminder that real love builds people up, protects them, and lets them grow. It doesn't twist into suspicion, control, or rage. When warning signs show up, like constant jealousy that smothers trust, a quick temper that flares without reason, or a past filled with serious trouble. Those aren't things to brush aside or hope will change. They're signals to pause, protect yourself, and often walk away before things spiral. Ignoring that inner voice whispering something's wrong can lead to places no one should have to go. And when a relationship does end, especially with young children in the picture, the safest path forward isn't always a personal meeting, even in a public spot. Co-parenting is important, but it can be handled through safer channels, written messages, apps designed for separated parents, lawyers, or family court mediators. Those steps reduce the risk of emotions boiling over in ways that can't be taken back. If an ex has shown controlling behavior, a criminal history, or explosive anger, prioritize your safety and your kids' well-being above trying to fix things face-to-face. Why would risk pulling a mother away from her children when calmer options exist? As this chapter closes, let's hold on to who Chasity truly was, not defined by how her life ended, but by how brightly she lived. She was a fighter in the best sense, a mom who gave every ounce of herself to her 8-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter, making sure they felt loved and secure every day. She was a daughter who brought sunshine to her big family, a student hustling toward her degree at Sacramento City College with dreams of business and music to create a better tomorrow. If any part of this story feels too close to home, if you're dealing with jealousy that feels suffocating, arguments that leave you scared, or a partner who makes you question your own reality, please don't wait. Reach out to someone you trust, whether it's a friend, family member, or a professional. Talking early, getting help, and creating distance can change the ending of a story like this. Chastity's light was stolen too soon, but the way her family honors her, the way the community remembers her kindness, and the lessons her tragedy teaches keep that light alive for others. May her memory inspire safety, strength, and the courage to choose peace over danger. She deserves so much more, and so do you. Before you go, please take a moment and say a word of prayer for the family of Chasity and her children in the comment section. Also hit the subscribe button if you have not done to show a sign of peace and love.